The movie kicks off in a small Spanish town where Vicente heads into a store and swipes some bottles while his son Ian works his magic outside, creating illusions to distract the clerk. They make a quick exit, but Ian's illusion fades when he's taunted by some passing girls. Inside, the clerk notices the missing bottles and confronts Vicente, leading to a panicked situation where Ian accidentally shoots the clerk. With police approaching, Vicente whisks Ian away in their truck, leaving the clerk miraculously unharmed. As they speed away, the cops give chase. Ian tries to use his powers to throw them off, but it doesn't last. They argue about whether to use their abilities for personal gain. When they reach the beach, Ian conjures a bigger illusion to fool the cops. The whole incident gets caught on camera and reaches Dr. Adriana, who's part of a mysterious group. The next day, Vicente and Ian are at their secret hideout, where Ian has a troubling dream about his mom. Vicente makes him a special birthday breakfast, but Ian just wants a normal celebration. Meanwhile, in town, the police officer's story about the strange weather catches the attention of someone named the Perceiver, who has powers of their own. Later, Adriana's team surrounds their hideout, catching them off guard. Ian is at the arcade when the Perceiver and agents show up. A chaotic showdown ensues, with Ian eventually getting captured and taken to the agency. After some unexpected twists, Ian wakes up at the agency facility, where Adriana fills him in on their mission. The agency is locked in a battle against the Conscience, a group of individuals with powers similar to Ian's. They've been pulling strings behind the scenes, regardless of political affiliations, to keep their grip on power. The agency's goal is to stop them and bring back true democracy. Adriana warns Ian that the Perceiver, another powerful individual, will either try to recruit him or eliminate him, urging Ian to side with her. She also wants to find a formula in Ian's blood that could neutralize the enemy's abilities. Adriana quizzes Ian about his powers, suggesting he might be able to project people. Ian initially doubts this, but manages to create such an illusion when he taps into his painful memories. However, he struggles to control it and demands to see his father. Adriana takes Ian to Vicente, who warns him about the agency's plans to experiment on him. Adriana then reveals that Ian can access his father's memories, uncovering a startling truth: Vicente isn't his biological father. Ian realizes this as he witnesses a younger Vicente working with Adriana, who had kidnapped baby Ian. Back in the present, Vicente faints. Adriana confirms Ian's suspicions and suggests his mother might still be alive. Later, Adriana shows Ian's blood test results to an American, who's surprised by Ian's extraordinary abilities. Adriana explains that Ian inherited his powers, which was thought impossible because Perceivers were believed to be sterile. Ian is discovered to be the first person born with such abilities. The American orders Adriana to get the formula and dispose of Ian, but she refuses, arguing that Ian might develop even more powers and become their only defense against the threat known as the Mule, despite the Americans' doubts. Meanwhile, Esther confronts Ian, labeling him as a mere lab experiment, and offers to help him escape. They try to flee but are quickly surrounded by guards. However, Esther shows her combat skills by incapacitating the agents. As they attempt to escape with Vicente, Adriana notices the breakout and alarms the facility. Ian drives recklessly while arguing with Vicente about his past deceptions. Inside the lab, the doctor reveals himself as the Perceiver and massacres the staff before leaving. Ian uses his powers to divert the guards' gunfire as they flee. However, their escape is marred by a crash caused by Ian's erratic driving. When the Perceiver arrives, Ian uses his powers to deceive him before they find refuge in a motel. The next day, Ian and Esther spend time together on the roof, but upon returning to the room, they find Vicente unconscious from drinking. Determined to uncover the truth, Ian delves into his father's memories once more. In the memory, Ian witnesses Adriana handling a file belonging to patient Kaminsky, who is to be transferred to Poland. Adriana then discusses the formula's injection with the van driver. Ian notices a masked individual with 3 missing fingers in the memory, causing him to lose the connection. Subsequently, Ian goes to a bank and employs an illusion to convince the clerk that a random piece of paper is a check he wants to cash. The clerk hands Ian the money, but she soon realizes the check is just a note and calls for security. Fortunately, Ian meets up with Esther, and they manage to escape quickly enough to evade capture. Back at the motel, Esther playfully tosses the cash around the room before hopping into the shower, but Ian grows concerned when Vicente fails to return. Suddenly, Ian hears a car pull up outside, so he instructs Esther to stay hidden and prepares an illusion. When the Perceiver enters, he finds an empty room but sees through the illusion by revealing a mirror, which remains unaffected. A fight ensues between Ian and the Perceiver amidst shifting illusions. Ian attempts to use Esther's taser and a chair, but fails. Eventually, the Perceiver gains the upper hand, glancing at the bathroom before delving into Ian's memories. It's revealed that Ian went to the bank to gather funds for a trip to Poland, where he intends to locate the scientist responsible for the experiment. Ian collapses as the perceiver leaves. He dreams of his mother until the Vicente wakes him up, scolding him for the bank robbery, which has become a major news story. Ian blames Vicente for lying to him and refuses to call him dad, sparking an argument. Vicente presents Ian with two options: continue down the path of pain or leave with him. Ian chooses to go to Poland alone. Meanwhile, Adriana and the American track the stolen cash and discover Ian's purchase of train tickets. Ian and Esther arrive in Poland, where the perceiver eliminates nearby agents. They find the lab in an old abandoned building, and Ian recognizes the room from his dreams but feels it should be larger. He taps the walls until he finds a hidden room filled with cabinets and documents. Among them is a notebook titled Project Awareness, with a photo of his mother, revealing his grandfather as the scientist behind the experiments who used his own daughter for the project. Vicente returns to his ship and is visited by Adriana, who urges him to stop drinking and become a real father. Meanwhile, Esther betrays Ian by bringing the perceiver inside, claiming to help him find answers. Ian attempts to use a gun, but the perceiver sees through the illusion and finds himself surrounded by multiple copies of Ian. The perceiver identifies the real Ian among the illusions and reveals shocking news: he's Ian's biological father. During the Cold War, a scientist injected a formula into volunteers, including his daughter and the perceiver, granting them special powers to act as spies. However, after the war, fearing their abilities, the government sought to eliminate them. Then the mule, the most powerful perceiver, emerged. When they tried to kill him, he revealed his third power, mind control. The mule formed the conscience, teaching survivors to hide their powers and live normal lives. Ian's mother and the perceiver conceived him naturally, defying the belief that perceivers were sterile. As agents enter the building, the perceiver instructs Esther to take Ian to his house in Madrid. Meanwhile, he engages in a fierce battle with the agents, utilizing illusions and firepower. Despite his efforts, he's eventually captured. Esther effortlessly dispatches agents, leading Ian to safety. At the agency's lab, the perceiver undergoes painful experiments. Adriana halts the procedure when it becomes clear it could kill him. However, the diluted formula in his body proves unrecoverable. Adriana informs the American that Ian is their only hope. When the perceiver requests water, he reveals his third power by seizing control of a technician's mind, leading to a massacre. In Madrid, Ian discovers his mother alive but in a catatonic state due to the experiments. The perceiver arrives and reveals that a part of her mind remains intact. Ian enters his mother's mind, causing her real body to tremble. The perceiver joins them, revealing the torment his mother endured due to the agency. Before her capture, she implanted a memory in Ian's mind containing the formula symbolized by toys. The perceiver desires the formula to create more powered individuals but encounters an invisible barrier when he attempts to approach the toys. Ian realizes his mother's intention to protect the formula, but the perceiver's persistent attempts to breach the barrier inflicts severe damage on her. The pain forces them out of her mind, and Ian sings their childhood song to his dying mother. Agents swarm the house, and Ian, overwhelmed with emotion, awakens his third power, controlling the agents to incapacitate each other. He proceeds to compel agents to kill each other, disregarding Esther's concerns. Vicente arrives, urging Ian not to succumb to the perceiver's manipulation and warning against the remorse he'll face later. The perceiver challenges Ian to kill Vicente, but Ian seeks vengeance against the agency instead. Vicente's confrontation with the perceiver leads to his shooting, prompting Ian to release control over the agents and rush to Vicente's side. The perceiver takes Esther captive as Vicente implores Ian to enter his mind. In Vicente's memory, Ian learns that his mother entrusted Vicente to save the baby, leading Ian to apologize and reconcile with Vicente before his passing. Ian reminisces with Vicente before his demise, then grabs a gun and pursues the perceiver, who hides at a neighboring party. Ian follows Esther's voice and uses his powers to incapacitate the partygoers, revealing the perceiver holding Esther at gunpoint. A mental struggle ensues as they vie for control of the gun, but the perceiver regains dominance. He manipulates the crowd to attack Ian, who defends himself with makeshift shields. In his desperation, Ian taps into his third power, gaining the upper hand and defeating his adversaries. Despite his efforts, Ian is nearly overpowered by a particularly strong assailant, but Adriana intervenes, saving him. Ian pleads with the perceiver not to harm Esther, but Adriana reveals that Esther isn't present, indicating that the perceiver has manipulated Ian's perception. As Ian delves into his memories, he realizes that the perceiver implanted false experiences into his mind since their initial encounter. Feeling betrayed, Ian confronts Esther, who professes her genuine feelings for him. In a panic, Ian shoots at Esther, but the bullet passes through her and strikes the perceiver, killing him instead. Esther comforts Ian as they embrace. Later, Ian arranges for his mother and Vicente to have proper burials. Adriana visits them, urging Ian to choose his side in the conflict and emphasizing her need for the formula. However, Ian refuses to partake in the war and opts to depart with Esther to begin anew. As they drive away, Ian notices Adriana conversing with the American, but the absence of the man's reflection in the truck mirror suggests that Adriana, too, is under a mental loop. Make sure to subscribe so we can keep bringing recaps like these for you. Thank you for watching.